For the last exercise this week, we'll take a closer look at managing our objects, or the instances of classes. I'm going to do that through adding a swap function. So the swap just wants P1 to take on the values of P2 and P2 the values of P1. So swap the self for the other. They take on each other's values. So in basically P1 will be 0, 0. So in this case we have here a value of 0, 0. P2 also has the value 0, 0 until I make this change. So at this point I have P2 having the value of 2, 7, if we want to use it as x and y coordinates, or 7, 2. And so we print the values that they are before I do a swap. Then I'll do a swap and I want to print it again. Okay, so I want the x and the y to be swapped. The standard way of doing that is having a temporary value. So I'm going to say temp is going to be a new point, and I want temp.row to be equal to self.row. So I'm going to store these, and temp.column is equal to self.column. So I've created a new point that has my old row and column, so that's now saved. I can override that, so now I can say self.row is equal to other.row, and self.column is equal to other.column, and the only thing that is left is now the other should take on the old value of self, which is stored in temp. So I'll just set it equal to temp. This is not going to work. So let's take a look at what happens when I do this. So it looks like a nice swap has happened. So these are so now temp contains old values of self. Now self contains the old values of other, and other set to old values of self. Okay, so it looks like the swap happened. This is actually not the case. So Python 3, notice that before the swap indeed 1 is 0, 0 and 2 is 7, 2. But after the swap both of them have 7, 2. So this did not actually work. The second one, so other did not, P2 did not change its values. This is because I simply assigned it to a new point. I didn't actually change the point that was passed into me. If I actually want to change what was passed into me, I have to say other.row is equal to temp.row, and other.column is equal to temp.column. And now it will work unless I made a mistake, and it dots. And now the swap actually happened. Alright, so when you are changing instances or objects that are passed in, you need to be careful if you're making changes. Sometimes those changes are visible, namely when you go inside of other and change something that is inside of other, that change is visible outside. But if I just say other is pointing to some new object now, or is assigned a brand new value, that change is not visible outside of the method or a function call for that matter.